Hi everyone, this is Raina. So this video is for the lunar eclipse, which is happening on August 7th at 1:21 p.m. Central Standard Time. A lunar eclipse is a very powerful full moon. And at every full moon, there is an opposition with the sun. So the sun is in the opposite sign of whatever the full moon is in. So in this case, the lunar eclipse is in Aquarius, so the sun is in Leo. So we're talking about this Leo-Aquarius polarity, and what does that mean? Leo rules the fifth house. It rules creative self-expression. It rules love, but personal love. When you're falling in love and that person becomes your beloved, it's like your whole world becomes that one person. It rules children, so it's like your children are your DNA, or if you adopted, they're your, I don't want to say your property, but they belong to you. And your creative endeavors, what you generate through your own creative self-expression, that's yours. That's why you sign your painting or you sign your poem. And the 11th house is Aquarius, and it deals with the collective. It deals with humanity as a whole. So Aquarians tend to prefer situations that involve a lot of people, and an egalitarian type of a system where everyone has a say, everyone has everyone has a voice. It's all about us as one entity rather than individuals. And so you will see when you observe an Aquarius person versus a Leo person, which one tends to be more about themselves and which tends to be not really about the self as much as what about this group? What about this culture, this society? What concerns that span a whole group of people rather than the individual. Now, it would be simplistic to say that one is better than the other. On the surface, it may seem that the Aquarian has the right idea, but we are individual souls. There's no getting around that, and we do have our own path that we came here to walk. So the trick is to incorporate both into our lives, is to really be that individual and to have your own sense of self and your own desire to share that self with others, and at the same time think of other people and not just yourself. And that can easily be accomplished. It doesn't have to be one versus the other. So these kinds of issues may come to the forefront in, we'll just say, the world as a whole, but in your own personal life, you would have to look at in your natal chart where these eclipses, because of course there's going to be a solar eclipse in Leo a couple of weeks after that. So there's going to be a pair of eclipses in August, and they will fall in opposing houses from you. But what those two houses are, who knows? Because unless you're watching this as an Aquarius rising, or maybe a Leo rising, even that you wouldn't know the exact degree how to look for it unless you already know your chart. So the natal chart is very specific, and it really matters your time of birth in terms of how everything is set up. So I just wanted to say that. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the aspects that are forming at this time, because they are quite nice. One thing, I'm getting my computer here so I can look this up. But one thing which, again, when you have a lunar eclipse, you're talking about a very powerful full moon. And if you've ever observed a full moon, you can sometimes definitely see the effects of it, where you see a lot of erratic behavior. And we do have an opposition between the moon and Mars, which probably is pretty commonplace, given that Mars, can easily be close to the sun in any given time. And so with the moon figuring into that, it's not hard to see. But yeah, so the moon is in Aquarius and Mars is in Leo. Now let's talk about Mars in Leo and Venus in Cancer. Venus is our romantic nature, and it's very nurturing, and it's very kind-hearted, and in terms of itself, self-conscious, afraid of being hurt. So there's this extreme sensitivity associated with Venus in Cancer, and almost like a tentativeness. So if you have this in your natal chart, you would know what I'm talking about. And by the way, it doesn't even matter if you are somebody who, let's say, has a sun in Leo and you have Venus in Cancer. There's going to be that tender part of you that is beyond the bravado. So Mars is in Leo, and Mars is the way that we act, our ambition, what's going on. So there's this real need for people to throw their weight around, to say, I'm somebody special, wanting that recognition, wanting that acknowledgement. And I think in our society today, this is very rampant, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because for a lot of people, when they're working, they're working in places where they may not be getting the kind of recognition that they deserve. And this may be done by design to keep the person feeling like maybe they're not doing a good enough job. You know, it could be a psychological technique. So what can happen is that people become excessively in need of that. And they can start becoming more arrogant, demanding. And this is what the shadow side of Mars in Leo is: arrogance, condescension, demanding, being like a diva type of an energy. Whenever you see somebody who is exhibiting these traits, you should know that they're not in their personal power. When you're in your personal power, you are not bossy. When you're bossy, it's because you feel like that's the only way you can get your needs met, is by almost like intimidating people, strong-arming people into getting what you want. But when you are really quietly confident, you can just state things in a very laid-back manner, and 9 times out of 10, people will do them for you because you're not being pushy. Being pushy is the worst way to get your needs met. But sometimes it works, because there are more than enough weenies on this planet that just automatically kowtow to anything. So we got that going on, but I wanted to talk about something really nice. We have a trine between the Sun and Saturn. Saturn is going to be in retrograde motion until the end of August. I believe it's the 26th or so. My cursor has disappeared from my computer, so I need my mouse, and I don't have it, and I can't get my ephemeris out here. But I think it's like around that date, the 26th of August. So that's right after that wonderful solar eclipse in Leo. And of course, Saturn is in Sagittarius, a fellow fire sign. So it's forming this beautiful trine from the Sun to Saturn. The Sun is what you came here to do in a worldly sense, really, and also your own sense of self in this incarnation. So you couple that with Saturn, which is discipline, organization, and you can really lay some groundwork. Now, we are having a Mercury retrograde, and this is something that is happening on the 12th. Right after this lunar eclipse, we go into the Mercury retrograde. And actually, at the time of this eclipse, it will be in the shadow period. But even so, if you have had something that you started before, you may see that that thing comes roaring back. Because Saturn are things that you do that pay off in the long run. It's not a flash in the pan. So You can make a lot of inroads during August, especially at the time of that eclipse, lunar eclipse, and also let go of things. You know, Aquarius is about sudden changes, but changes like letting go of things with a lunar eclipse. And sometimes the surroundings or the opportunities are ripe for change because of these eclipses. And so if you just piggyback on that, you can really ride the wave, and it's wonderful. Okay, I'm going to see, let's pick a tarot card and see what that says about this. The Page of Cups. So this is a card of creative self-expression. Okay, this is a card that I associate with people who are artists, people who are visionaries, dreamers. And for sure, especially with the fact that Leo figures into this, people may be saying, do I have the right to pursue what I want? Especially if you are somebody in the arts. Do I have that right, or do I owe other people something? You know, if you look at Aquarius as a group, whether it be a family, whether it be a certain job that you're at, where you're all in it together, and you're thinking, but I want to do something for myself. This is a card that talks about your sense of innocence. And, you know, this would be like a child who is very sensitive. And some people go through life with a facade of being very tough, but really they have that deep sensitivity. And I'm speaking especially of people who are creative. And sometimes they put on this armor because people discourage them, try to steer them down a different road, and that artist is still in there, and that sensitive soul is still present. So don't lose sight of that. And who knows, maybe this month you will go in the direction that speaks to learning how to express yourself fearlessly and unashamedly. Okay. This is from the Wisdom of the Oracle, and I love, look at the back of these cards. I'm going to be doing my favorite things. I think I'll do that tomorrow, where I just like go through all my cards, and then I'll provide links so that you can, if you want to purchase these things through Amazon, you can, because I got these all from Amazon. And look at these cards. I love, I mean, they're just so, the quality is very high. It's always a bummer when you unpack some cards and they feel very cheap, flimsy. Ugh, I can't stand that. But these are very nice. So let's pick a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle. Go the Distance, number 47. I'm just going to read this as I go along. It seems to work better than having it all out like that. I'm not crazy about reading from the book because I think it makes it a little bit canned and not my own reading, but I can at least... Essential meanings, endurance, strength, the long haul. To bring your dream to life, you must think long-term and pay no attention to the fluctuations in the current of your experience. And this is what I was just talking about with the sun being in harmonious aspect to Saturn at the time of the eclipse, is that Saturn is for the long haul. It's not for just something you want to do that you want to be successful at very temporarily. Joy and disappointment commingle with opportunity, so there is no need to fear the occasional obstacle. Life is not a sprint. This card is a reminder that you have endurance, strength, and fortitude to carry you all the way. Remain true to yourself. Your authenticity alone will keep you in alignment with the energy of miracles. What is yours will never be withheld from you. Remember that. And this is the prosperity message. Your most precious dreams are not about instant gratification, but enduring prosperity. This is a time to think long-term and engage in continued action. You will experience the momentum building as you translate the ebb and flow into slow and steady movement forward. Your efforts, ideas, and hard work can now lead to greater riches than you can imagine. Stoke the fire, Leo, so that an uninterrupted stream of energy is available to support you in all phases of manifestation. Be assured that you are in the right place right now. And the thing about when they talk about endurance, which is really synchronistic to this particular set of eclipses in August, is that Aquarius and Leo are both fixed signs. And so they are associated with endurance. They're not necessarily catalysts in and of themselves. They build on what others start, and they have the long-lasting, the ability to keep plugging away day after day and not give up, okay? Obviously, when you have your own chart, you have different things. I mean, you might have the sun in Leo, and you might have the moon in Pisces, and you would have that mutability, and you'd have more flexibility. So it's not just like one thing, but we're talking about what they represent, and they do represent that kind of endurance that that card mentioned. So I thought that was pretty cool and right on time. Okay, so just for the heck of it, I'm going to pull a card from the Law of Attraction deck. I can't look at these because they are, there's writing on them, so I don't want to see what I'm picking. Okay, this one I got was Attitude. I don't know if you can see the, it's kind of like an Oriental theme. I know Oriental isn't politically correct, but in terms of art, I think they still use that. Okay. I attract success and positive people into my life with my positive attitude. One thing, too, to remember is that Leo is ruled by the sun. And so it does have that sunny disposition, and the sun will be in Leo during the time of this eclipse. So even if there are changes and, you know, these fluctuations, some people may be going through a lot of stuff, it's important to always center yourself in the positive core of your being and not allow some outer events to disturb that. So that's what they talk about when they talk about centering, being able to kind of always maintain equanimity by understanding your ultimate identity. If you identify with your job and it's gone, then that will make you upset. If you identify with the amount of money you have in the bank and it's not the same, of course that's going to affect you too. So being able to roll with the changes is supremely important, especially during eclipse season. Okay, this is the Earth Magic deck. This is what the back looks like. I shouldn't keep doing this because I want to do that for my favorite things. I'm trying to do like an Oprah thing. Okay. Waterfall, effortless. Oh, I love this. This is, it reminds me of the Law of Attraction when Abraham Hicks talks about going downstream. And I was just reading a comment on YouTube under somebody's video, and they were talking about, it sounded like they were saying, you know, some people are making money too easily doing something, I can't remember what it was, and that, you know, you have to in order to really appreciate something, you have to like really work hard at it. And that really is the paradigm of, you know, especially in America, the influence of the Puritans, where it's like, you know, you have to work really hard to be deserving in life. And actually, effortlessness, the more you can embrace effortlessness, the more easy you are in life. Think about when people are stressed out by their jobs and how they feel this sense of just like the weight of the world on them. And that's not, that's not going to make people happy. These eclipses are a time when things may really, it's like a catalyst, so it prods people to get beyond their comfort zone. And, new things may come in, new things or old things may go out, especially with the lunar eclipse that I'm talking about here. And the key is to be happy about it, not to be scared, not to be resentful. Okay. You have come to the edge of your comfort zone. I just said the word comfort zone. And find yourself fighting to resist moving past that perceived precipice of who you are, how you can be, or what you can do. Spirit is asking you to step beyond the edge and allow yourself to do so with ease rather than struggle. Yes, at times physical exertion is necessary, but when performed with fluidity and grace, even when the task seems daunting, you'll find that the movement moves you effortlessly. Approach the present situation or relationship with awareness and grace. Do not try to make it effortless. That just creates more strain. The key word here is to allow. This is not a time to fight, but to surrender to the will of Spirit. Oh, this is so on point. Even if you're being asked to let go completely and tumble into the brink of creation itself, you will find the waters there to be ultimately still and calm. Keep your focus on your solar plexus and your breath, breathing through any tension. Relaxing and yielding to the movement that is occurring at any given moment makes your life effortless. And the solar plexus is your third chakra. So I think what they're talking about here is not feeling this sense of being overpowered by something that's happening if there's this big change that goes on during August, but really being able to just breathe through it and understand that ultimately you hold the power, and all these things are just surface events, and they may be very life-changing for some people, but they don't have to be the end-all, be-all that shakes you to your core. You can always maintain that sense of peace deep down within you. Now, you may hear me doing something. It's because I'm trying to dig out the last card that's stuck in this box. I was going to pick one last card from the Nature Spirit deck, but I feel like I can't get there. I can't get this card. It's like, okay, there it goes. Alrighty, so the last deck I'm going to pick is from the Native Spirit deck, and I really love all things Native American. I love their patterns. I mean, some of this thing may seem superficial because I don't know much about their religion or their spirituality, but I do love the dress, the clothing, and the patterns and the jewelry, and the love of nature, the nature-centered religious aspect to it. I love that. The reverence for nature, I should say. So let's see what card I get from that. This is the back of it, and I picked this card, so. Flowing River. I got Waterfall and Flowing River, and I'm sure it's going to be a similar message. So there again, flowing, going with the flow. Okay. Wow, this is really on time. The meaning of the card is everything is falling into place because you aren't resisting the drift of the great river of life. It's time to let go. Definitely during times of eclipses, it's time to let go. You're entering a period of gracious ease and flow. All is unfolding perfectly and with good timing. When you're in a state of flow, you aren't pushing the river to go faster and you aren't swimming against it. Let go of the shore and enjoy the ride. Your native spirit wants you to know, rivers have personalities and carry energy, just as animal and plants do. From the Maoris to the Australian Aborigines and to other native cultures throughout the world, it's believed that it's important to listen to the language of the river. If you aren't feeling the smooth currents of life, It might mean that you're trying to control situations or that you're being self-critical or judgmental. The way to move into flow is through gratitude and appreciation and by allowing others to support and help you. Heed the Native American saying, it's best to ride the horse the direction that it's going. This means that when the card flowing river chooses you, you're being told to let go and go with the flow. If there is something or someone you need to forgive, this is the time. This is also the time to forgive yourself and just let go. The journey. As you shower and the water flows over your body, imagine that everything is flowing in your life. Spend time next to a river or stream and watch the flowing waters. Use it as a metaphor to let go and enter the flow. And I was just thinking about that because that might be a good thing to do at the lunar eclipse, is to, if you have the opportunity to be by a body of water. I'm recording this exactly a week before it happens, so it will be on a Monday in America at least. So that might keep some people from doing it, but some other people may choose to go by a body of water and kind of realize that we are in constant motion. Nothing is stagnant, even though sometimes it feels that everything is standing still. And change is part of why we came here. So clinging to the past is not going to cut it, you know, even though it can be very, it can feel like sometimes when things are very, it seems like very much in flux, it can feel very disorienting. It really can. So in any case, I hope that you guys got something from this, and I wish you all the best during this eclipse season, and in particular this lunar eclipse. Take care. Bye.